Hello! Welcome to our review of Everything Everywhere All at Once, a film by Daniels. That's how they like to title their stuff. No does, even. But yeah, long awaited movie for me, especially after we did Swiss Army Man this
That's what
earlier this year. But yeah, let's just get into some of our thoughts and see if we recommend this one to you guys. What you guys think about it?
Yeah, I was also really looking forward to this one when I saw the first trailer a while back, and I was like, "Wow, this looks fucking sweet." And then I saw it was the Daniels, and I was like, "Sorry, Daniels," and I was like, "All right, this has got to be at least at the very
Kooky.
most, just yeah, fucking wild."
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I was in, I was ready for it.
Mm.
I didn't expect anything less from them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Swiss Army Man was so weird and like quirky, but it was also like just it gave you a warm hug.
Hmm.
And this movie did too, to me anyway.
Oh,
So
totally. Yeah.
It's definitely they know to find a good balance between the fucking weird and absurd, and then bringing it back to something where it's like, okay, that was also
Super
a good
heartfelt.
dramatic moment. Yeah,
Yeah.
heartfelt. And
hmm
it's just
That's
they have a good balance there, and they know how to just fucking push it too.
hmm
It's
hmm
very good.
They
Yeah.
know how to get you laughing and then just sucker punch you
Yeah.
Yep.
with the
So,
emotions, man.
and this
What a
movie in
ride.
particular, the timing between crying and laughing can be like seconds. It's like so like up and down. It's just so
I
crazy
was
to
crying and laughing near the end.
Crafting,
totally.
yeah,
'Cause, yeah, I
basically.
was crying. I was like, and
Yeah.
then someone made a joke mid comment. I was like,
It's yeah,
it's
it's
just
crazy. The I've seen it twice now and I just saw it in IMAX and it's like to me it's a very powerful movie and a very powerful
Mhm.
experience of anything, but it just the Daniels, I think I'm on their I'm there's a few filmmakers that I just hop on the train and I'm on for their life. And these
Mhm.
guys are definitely people I will see every single movie by them. Like this is only their
Nice.
Season
second movie.
passes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And they've
right.
only had two films. And
Right.
it's like that speaks so much about how like skillful they are as filmmakers,
Right.
Yeah.
you know?
And like Alex was saying, the balance that they can find with like totally crazy yet totally like brave stuff that like in Swiss Army Man, half of those things, like I think I said in our review, I would be it'd be really hard for me to like write that and not
Yeah.
feel like insecure or like no, I don't know about that. Like and they just fucking go for it and they don't I don't know. It's like so bold to me that they are trying some of the stuff that they do. But
Yeah.
yeah.
hmm
They have like this uncanny ability to literally like write something that like everyone has felt at one point or another. You know what I mean?
mm,
Mhm.
Because like, 'cause, like that's the whole experience I got with Swiss Army Man, and this one, I think each character kind of has a few moments where it's like, whether you relate to them or not, they say something or feel something that you can have felt or that you can relate to.
yeah.
Yeah.
hmm
That's what got me, dude. I was like on board and was laughing through most of this movie, and then that last like half hour, I was like just sobbing. like,
hmm
um,
There's just so much
and I think what
humanity.
did it, yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That the scene with Wayman when he's like stepping between Joy, I think that like cracked me. That like the egg, I
Hmm
was like, I could feel get myself opening up. And then stuff happens with Evelyn and Joy, like in the laundromat and stuff, and like the words they have with each other, and that just broke me. That just fucking, I was like, I'm like getting emotional thinking about it now.
Yeah,
You know
it's
what I mean?
crazy.
Like,
The when they're going up when she's up the going up the stairway sequence, it's probably like a 10-minute sequence, and it's
Mhm.
like flash. Obviously, this whole movie's like flashing between multiple universes or whatever. But they just know how to craft like a sequence like that. Because to me, movies can make me cry if they do the legwork in a scene to just bring me there.
hmm
And these
Right.
guys, like, they just know how to like toy with you in this one. They're like I said, they're bringing you up, they're bringing you down. Like, but that whole like last when she's going up and like settling people's like internal like problems or whatever, and it's just I don't know. I was like tearing up the whole time. It was crazy.
See, I wish, man, you guys make me. Don't cry during movies. I wish I can get there. I
Mm,
really do. Last time I cried was Eight Below when I was a wee lad, but that was because the dogs died.
wow,
That'll make me cry. Kill a dog. Mm.
That's the one
Anything else
move.
though?
That's like one of the few movies I've ever fallen asleep in the theater. April though.
Well,
So
good. You missed out on all the dogs dying,
yeah,
right?
I
You
didn't
did
have
yourself
the
a favor.
I didn't have the same experience. So.
No, I didn't cry, but I did feel, I feel emotions.
Hmm.
I guess I don't show them. But yeah,
Yeah,
no,
I
it
just
was
had.
definitely.
I don't. Honestly, it's like rare for me to cry in a movie. This one, like I said, it cracked me, and then I just like had to let it go. You know,
Yeah.
it's just it got me there. It did the legwork to get me there. Because
It's
I'm also
definitely got
listening.
those.
No, go ahead.
No,
Go ahead.
it's definitely got the things that the emotional touches where it's like, oh yeah, no, this is
Yeah.
relatable. This stings, or
Yeah.
things like that. But I don't know.
Hmm.
I can't get there. I guess I can't cry.
Yeah.
Emily, my girlfriend, like rarely can get there, and this one,
Yeah,
like Noah said, it cracked her. I think. And
man, what
Got
am
her.
I? What monster am
I
I?
don't know.
My
I
heart
will.
was for them.
Yeah, I'll say, like with the Northman, I came in with a level of prestige I was already giving this movie, so I would think I was already like more open to it.
Yeah.
And I think that if some people didn't know what they were coming into and totally were against this movie, kind of from the get go, they might not like this movie at all. So
Yeah.
like, and I could see that, but I also think if you just try, this movie will work its magic. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I think for
No,
me
I
it's
had
kind of like, sorry, more personal. Because I think right before I saw the movie, I watched like an interview they did, and Ki Kwan, who was in freaking The Goonies and Indiana Jones,
Short
I
round.
guess he stopped acting
Yeah.
because no one was like calling him for auditions and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and just like he came back because of Crazy Rich Asians and how he saw other Asian actors being like represented and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was like, okay, he was inspired to come back. And I was like, yeah, I need to watch this movie, just because, times are changing. And it's just great to see this kind of story being told in like a not, I don't know how to explain it, but like in a weird way, like in a multiverse way instead of like just a family
The
drama
general
kind of
way.
thing.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it's a superhero story for this woman, and it's
Hmm.
totally, I would assume, great representation for Asian people.
Yeah.
It's and Michelle Yeoh and is it Ki Kwan?
Hmm.
They both just were fantastic. It's like
So
it was
good.
I haven't seen a lot of Michelle Yeoh stuff, but this was by far the best thing I've ever seen her do,
Oh yeah.
and she deserves like awards, I would say, or nominations for it. But
The other guy, I think he was my favorite. I don't know what his name was, but her husband, he
Ki
was my
Kwan.
favorite. Yeah,
Key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way he
was
could like
awesome.
switch to his like super whiny, like crazy, like incompetent voice, and then he like goes over to the Alpha verse where he's like totally assured. And yeah, it was awesome.
That scene where he sits there and he slowly unzips his fanny pack, pulls out the chapstick, takes it, bites it. I'm like, oh, it's gonna go down now.
Dude,
It was just
that fanny pack fight sequence is like one of the best things I've ever seen, I think. Like, I don't know.
grabs the guy in the nose with it.
Yeah.
When he like reaches over and just picks up the rocks and then just like puts it in the fit, like you're just like, holy fuck, this dude's a badass. But it's so silly. Yeah, that was some good.
One
And
part.
I felt the. Go ahead.
The one part that it was me and Sarah and then a few other couples in the movie theater, but when Jamie Lee Curtis is sitting there and she moves her chair and she says, "You see those?" and they're butt plugs. I busted out laughing, and I think it allowed everyone else in the theater to loosen up a little bit because then everybody else followed suit because they're like, everybody knows what the fuck that is,
yeah.
Everyone's like, should I laugh at this? But yeah, it was funny, and then it ties in when they're trying to change and they're just come running over. He's ass naked. Oh, it was just
The
good.
dude jumping slow-mo through the air with just like ass cheeks out. Like
It was so good.
This like the theater experience I had was great too because people were laughing at like
Yeah.
you got to embrace that movie or else it's gonna not
Honestly.
land.
You just gotta, it's weird. Like you don't see it all the time, but it's fucking funny. I mean, it's just people like that shit. At least I think people like that shit. It was just funny.
Yeah, dude.
It's hilarious. The whole movie like it runs the gamut, like spectrum. It's a roller coaster. Yeah, that fight with the way he sets it up, like his he's like fighting that dude, and then Like, the launch pad, and it's just like there. Like, you know
You're
what's
like, oh
happening,
god,
and
yeah,
oh god, that's awful, dude. But
Yeah.
also like the jumping to the universe with the hot dog fingers.
Oh my god, yeah.
dude.
Like,
Oh my god, dude.
They use their feet for everything.
The flashback to
playing the
the flashback to like 10 million BC, and then the hot dog finger monkeys kill the normal
Fuck
handed.
out.
I don't know,
You
man.
just see the bloody normal hand.
Just like, yeah. Oh my god.
Oh,
Yeah, and even that's what's like so phenomenal is like you can go that silly, and then in the climax, you can have a moment where I'm like crying because they're shoving hot dog fingers into each other's mouths. Like it's just like so. Then they explain it by like enjoying the simple moments that make sense to you, and like it just clicks, even though it's so. And one of the like the things that made me laugh the hardest, I think, in the whole movie was Raccoony, or whatever.
Yeah.
man.
And like when he's like flying through the air after she launched him like to the car, it's like it just like opens something in my soul of like it's okay to laugh and cry and be this weird and like it's just fantastic.
That's like literally a sequence of ups and downs, man. That's like,
mhm.
because she's on the shoulder running and like all these things. She's walking out the door in the hot dog finger world, and
Yeah, she's like
then it all like
destroying all
it
of
all
her.
like ramps back up.
Yeah, she like destroys
Yeah.
all her like universes, or like starts to like go downhill in all of them, and then like pulls it back up and redeems all of them, and it's just it's
Yeah.
all that crazy multiverse shit is perfectly roped into the personal story of these characters. Like it's
Yeah.
just so well tailored, in my opinion. But
Mhm.
That's like spot on. I was like thinking at the end of this, because Multiverse of Madness is coming out and everything, it's gonna do, its version of the
Bozo
multiverse
Bucks.
stuff. Yeah, right. And I was like thinking, I was like, this movie, like it uses it as like a function, like multiverse, but like thematically, like to character driven. It works so much more as like to build out the characters, because the characters don't really like go too many places,
Yeah.
They're at the office, they're at the laundromat.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But the universes it really fills in like the gaps, the character gaps in, just by branching off in weird and kooky ways. And it just
Mhm.
works so well, way better than
Yeah.
expected.
And it's all down to the Daniels, I think, because they just make the most of everything that they have. Low budget movies, like you said, it's like the IRS building, like the home, a few other sets or
Yeah.
whatever. But like, there's so much that is encapsulated in this movie with like 4 sets, and like they know what to bring to it. You don't need $300 million of CGI budget, and there are great visual sequences in this movie that are done on, I would
Mhm.
assume, like 30 million, but they just
Yeah.
know where to allocate like time and effort and money, like.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like there
I think
was just a scene with just the rocks, and like that alone, that scene alone, like gave me so much emotions,
Mm-mm-mm.
and it was just 2 rocks,
Yeah.
and
That
it
the
was just like
simplicity of that.
crazy. Yeah.
That when it cut back to
Yeah.
the rocks, that was when a lot of my tears started to like well up again. And anytime
Yeah.
when the rocks are like slowly moving, like just the simplicity of that like message, like 2 unmoving rocks like slowly like coming. It's just like I have nothing else.
Right.
It's just
Mhm.
beautiful. Yeah.
Right.
It's
God,
wonderful.
I'm like getting emotional right now, just like because the whole movie was such a trip, and then just moment was just so quiet and like calm, but not calm, but it was
Yeah.
just
It like
it was just so
stops.
good.
Very.
It stops for like 2 minutes of silence, and in the theater that was
Yeah.
such a cool experience too, because everyone's in there with it. No one's
Mhm.
there's little chuckles here and there because it's a funny scene, like somewhat, but
Right.
like that movie. Both times I saw it, people didn't leave the seats right away, and that just shows to me that it like captures them, like because most people these days, like right when the credits hit, they're like, yeah, here we fucking finally, like. But with
Yeah.
this one, like most people just sat there and like. I don't know. That's just a sign of a good movie to me, I think. But
That's a good sign for sure, man. People usually just bounce as soon as they see the first
like,
credits,
there we go, finally. Like,
Like you're not gonna
Yeah.
process this? Like, what are you just gonna cry in your car? Just cry here now. You know
All
what I
right,
mean?
yeah,
I had like a fucking come to. I was like, yeah, I had to take a moment. Like the movie forces you to. I think to like
totally.
just sit, reflect, and like feel something. You know,
Mm-hmm.
achieves that at the very least.
Yeah. I just love multiverse. Like there was a moment where I think she learns about this whole other reality where she's like an actor or something, and her life
Mhm.
was so great. And like she comes back to Evelyn in the IRS building. She goes, "Hold on, I gotta find my husband. Gotta tell him how great my life could have been." And I was just like, "Oh my God." Just her comedic timing. I was really surprised with Michelle Yeoh. Like I didn't
Yeah,
know. I knew she was great because I mean I've only seen her in Crazy Rich Asians and Shang-Chi, but I knew she was like a, like a
prestigious.
not, yeah.
Yeah,
So I was really surprised how
Hmm.
funny she was. Like, and her chemistry with Key was just like,
Yeah, totally on
spot on.
point. Yeah, both of them
Yeah,
were like, and it's crazy because Key hasn't acted in 20 years, and they're both like at the same caliber. It felt like, like,
Yeah,
right?
mm.
definitely.
yeah. But I
Didn't
think
I thought
uh,
Michelle started as like a stunt woman
I think she was
mostly,
a
correct?
Chinese
I thought she was
actress
like
to start, and she might have
martial arts.
been martial arts related.
Yeah.
I know she
Yeah,
was in
that's
Crouching
what I thought.
Tiger, Hidden Dragon,
Mhm.
Okay.
so that's where a lot of people started to like hear her name, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, she does kind of have that background. Even her actress character has that background in the movie, which is kind of
Right.
cool.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
But I felt like I think what you're just kind of saying, Patricia, the Asian side of the story, but I also felt like the Asian American part of the story, where it's like
Mhm.
the some of the comedy is like she's not understanding or like cultural differences, but it's played so honestly that I was like with her. Like when she's like saying that she uses big words to confuse her or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like that's a jokey moment, but it's also like a
It's
character. It's a
reality to
character
some
moment.
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
was just it like landed all that kind of storytelling landed for me too.
Yeah.
So
And it's almost like when she was saying to her daughter that you should be happy that, I'm open. And it's like she's like in the middle between, her dad and like what she grew up with, and then her and like moving to America and just having that different kind of culture.
hmm,
She's like in the middle. She doesn't know, like, she's struggling,
yeah,
but she knows
Yeah.
she has to like steer towards the other way. But she's also like, has the expectations from her father. So I
hmm,
thought that was like, oh my God, I feel that so much.
all right,
You could
So,
feel her character being like
mhm.
pulled apart, like forcing. Yeah.
hmm,
No, I know what you mean though, because like the whole conservative grandpa and like that whole, like I think a lot of people can relate to that. Cross. I think it shows in this movie across cultures.
Yeah.
If anything.
hmm.
But what a weird, like the black bagel thing. Like what a what a
Everything bagel.
strange. Yeah.
That's like that's to me that's like Daniel's being like we need to
Yeah.
be weird and encapsulate the eternity of this in a way. And
Mhm.
I noted the second time I watched how much like circle imagery there is in this movie. Like just circles around like mirrors, like cookies, just the circle, everything bagel.
Hmm.
So I think they were playing
All
with
the
that.
blips.
Yeah, they're playing with that imagery. But yeah, it's just so weird and fun to me that it like
It makes
lands.
me
But
think that one of the Daniels tried to put everything they had on their fridge on a bagel and
all right.
ended up.
It'd be a movie right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the metaphor of it being like once everything's on it, nothing matters. Like
Right.
it's
Mhm.
like kind of true, Like I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just another weird thing that they landed to a dramatic moment in. Like
Yeah.
the way she
Mhm.
says it too, it's just so serious. But it's like that's an everything bagel,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. I wrote down like some of the awesome visuals in this movie, which is a testament to like the Daniels, but also just some of the ideas or like sequences they had, which is like Jamie Lee Curtis appearing in the closet to like wake up. Like
Yeah.
that's where like the low budget where they make the most of it with like lighting and scenes. They can thread between transitions in weird ways as long as they've
Hmm.
thought it out in advance, which I'm sure they had to do a shit ton of like planning for this one.
Mhm.
The subtitles being fragmented on the screen I thought was a really cool touch. Just like you don't have to do that, but it's like I don't know. That was a very unique way of putting the subtitles on. Um, the widescreen, like they go widescreen, and then there's like head ticks with the Jobu Tupaki,
Yeah,
and she's like
that
going
one's
through
really
different
cool.
universes, and like that was like one of the first little tricks they did, and I was like, I'm gonna like this movie. I think like just like the feel of that scene. Um,
Yeah.
Honestly, anything with Joey Tupaki was fucking awesome. Like her costumes, her makeup, and then especially like her first like hallway introduction scene, where she's just like making confetti out of people's heads and like
Flapping
vaping.
with dildos.
Yeah, just dildos at the
Yes.
end, vaping the gun barrel. I don't know. It's just like so silly and just like so perfect. Like all those crazy visual sequences, I thought were.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
I think the mix. I don't know, maybe it's just because I watch too much TV, but like the mix of practical and like visual effects shows you like it's just a good way to do filmmaking, man. It goes a
yeah,
long way,
Mhm.
I
yeah.
think.
Yeah.
I think I watched it behind the scenes a while back where they broke that scene down, and the little confetti explosion head was literally just a jump cut. Like it's one scene, it's a head, and one frame, it's the confetti. And
Mhm.
like a Marvel movie would be like, let's do the fucking simulation of the head, and we'll spend like months, and
Yeah.
it's just like
Give me all the particle effects.
all you need is that simple, fun jump cut, and it almost endears you more to the movie.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that
Makes
mix
you
is what's key, I think.
these two movies too, I think, makes you just have just a little bit of hope. Like I'm losing hope fast with I mean TV movies in general, but like there are original stories out there, you know? There's not just IPs or the Trojan horse IPs where they use the IP but really they have alternative motives
Yeah.
behind it and stuff. So it's just refreshing to go see a movie that's actually like original, thought provoking. I don't know. Uses those practical effects as well as some visual
Hmm.
CGI type stuff. I don't know. It was just refreshing to see,
Yeah, for
on
sure.
top of the watered down what we have now, which is Marvel's and Disney's takeover of
Extravaganza.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just not to
A
sound
big.
glum or anything or sound
They
like a
just want
Debbie
this
Downer, but it's just
competition to
so
build the biggest sound stage and
yeah.
Mhm.
go nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just the simplicity of that kind of stuff too. It's just I don't know, refreshing.
Hmm.
Right?
I
That
feel that.
also that's heartwarming in itself. So it
Right.
was nice.
Is that a tear I see, Alex?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It's weird. I know. Well, I guess I don't know. I was gonna kind of go off the brain on a different limb here, but what did you guys end up rating this
I
Star Wars?
I
I
gave
gave it a
it
4.5.
same here. I gave it 4.5. And
Same.
I could see it being a 5, but I griped on the
Yeah.
Northmen for similar issues. But the second act, I felt it took its time. I mean, I didn't mind
Yeah.
it, but yeah, it's just kind of overlong, and I could see why some people wouldn't think this is a perfect
Yeah.
movie. But so that's why I gave
I
it
gave it a 4.
4.5.
It's good.
Yeah,
Nice.
I landed on a 4.
That's
Good though.
that's fair. Yeah, I mean, I've also been started rating on IMDb too, and I think that's helped me like hone in on like how I like movies or how I rate them because there's the 5-star scale and then there's an out of 10 scale. So I think
Mm.
I landed on like an 8 out of 10 for this one
Yeah.
or a 9 out of 10. Maybe.
I mean, the scale
Yeah.
just
Um,
gets upped in my mind
yeah,
to like by
yeah,
0.5s to 1s.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I was just scaling to it. Thought I just started. I don't know why I did that, but I was like on another line of thought. Um, you know, what, we don't. All right, I was going to talk about unbearable weight, but we don't have to talk
Oh, why? What about? I mean,
because something. I forget, something. Oh, like the. Yeah, there's like I watched that movie The Bubble on Netflix. I don't know if you guys watched that.
I did.
That's very self-aware and uh, meta, but it's the same thing with unbearable weight. Like very self-aware and telling that story, but it just did it so much better. I don't know. Anyways, I don't know why it popped into. I think I was thinking about
Hmm.
it. Anyways, don't mind me. I'll just be here.
Let me
Yeah.
see if I got any other comments. One thing I've noticed with this and The Northman that I kind of enjoy, that's like a trend I see more movies doing, is that they're not cutting to the title in the first act anymore.
Yeah.
This one did for one part of the title, but it waited till the end of the movie to do all three parts or whatever, everything everywhere all at once. And The Northman doesn't cut the title till the end, I'm pretty sure.
Mhm.
And it's like that's kind of refreshing to me to be like, you don't. I like the cut the title as like the structure, but it also feels like if you don't want to do it and you have a better idea, then you can do it. Because the Northman, the cut to title for that wouldn't have been justified anywhere else. I feel like until he completed his Northman arc to like
Yeah, his
to
mission.
become the Northman, and everything ever all at once like takes its time to do the craziness of its title throughout the story. It's, I don't know. I was just noticing that.
No, that's it. Also, it's interesting how it was kind of like back with Breaking Bad, how Ozymandias, it didn't have the cut to title until like 30 minutes in because they didn't want to cut that dramatic stuff. But it was funny because they were talking about it, and they're like, yeah, it was a big thing where we were like, we had to convince them this is why we wanted to wait this long, because you know you have that time frame, but they didn't want to put everybody's names across, and as you're reading the names, you're missing out on all the
intense
good
scene you're
shit
watching.
that's happening,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So it's funny, but yeah, no, I appreciate stuff like that too, where it's
And then in this
more thought
movie,
put into it.
yeah, and it's like that structure's there to guide you, but if you don't want to do it and it's gonna land a different way, then just fucking do it. You know, like clearly,
Right.
like, and this one I thought it somewhat landed. I didn't land fully where they cut to the end in the middle of the movie when Michelle
Mhm.
Yeoh dies, and it's like the end, filmed by Daniel Kwan's, and then it turns out it's like the movie that they're watching in the Chinese, or it's like just a weird
It's
crossover
the
thingy.
version, the
Mhm.
actress version watching her movie or something like that.
Yeah, so that was a weird little thread, and it kind of reminded me of like Vice. Vice did it way more
Yeah.
successfully, I'd say, but because it's like a joke, it's literally a joke there to like cut it
Yeah.
there. But this one, it's like a joke, but it's also like moving on and like I don't. Yeah, it just seemed like they wanted to do that, but it's. I enjoy when movies try to do stuff like that, where they mess with your expectations as a viewer.
Yeah.
You know?
Mix up the form a little bit, man. Like,
Yeah.
there's no reason to fall into. I mean, it's probably easy to fall into Hollywood tropes, obviously, but break out of those if you can.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I won't hate on it for it. I'm pretty sure Tarantino does a similar thing with like the, I want to say like Hateful Eight or something, where he does like the kind of like
parts.
chapters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a most prolific filmmakers of our generations.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you find the structure that fits your story, and you tell it the way you want to tell it. You know,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
it's just nice to see that like filmmakers not having to conform when they are given. I feel like
Right.
A24 might be a big part of that, where they just let freedom into their
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
filmmakers.
at
Yeah.
least that production company is kind of like for the creator, you know, which is
Totally.
kind of nice to see.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be looking for more of the Daniel or of Daniel's stuff and A24 stuff. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be in
Yeah,
like
men.
in 6 years probably,
Yeah. Right.
along with Swiss Army Man.
That's true. That's a big gap.
2016. Yeah.
Worth the wait, though. I mean, kind of.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of.
Absolutely. I guess one final thought I have is that the googly eye, third eye metaphor of that like image is like so masterfully like impactful to me of what this movie is trying to say and be. I don't know, like the silliness, but also like the like finding your true self and knowing yourself and like, but I don't know. So the googly eye, like that image just landed perfectly to me. And I don't know, it's just super powerful.
Yeah.
I feel that there's a lot of just imagery. Like I said, I think this movie runs the gamut, the spectrum of emotions and obviously multiverse stuff. But there's a lot to latch onto, a lot to love about this movie. I think.
Mhm.
I agree.
Definitely.
So another hard recommend from the Stay Gold Squad, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Check out.
Definitely.
There's good movies coming out again. It feels nice.
Dude, I'm
Yeah.
impressed by the few.
Yeah. There's bad ones too, though. I saw Fantastic Beasts. There's bad ones.
Oh.
But
I watch out for the franchises. Those franchises.
yeah, honestly. But yeah, stick around. Maybe we'll do another multiverse review of Doctor Strange if you guys want to do that one. But
Yeah, how do they
Yep.
compare? You know,
yeah,
Exactly.
I
yeah.
think
The
there's going to be a clear
spectacle.
winner, but
Yeah, right. The spectacle going to be enough to push us
Yeah.
back onto the Marvel
Ooh.
cliff.
I'm sure there'll be stuff to talk about. I would hope.
Hmm.
I mean, if anything, it's Sam Raimi. That's my only hope.
Oh yeah,
Exactly.
that's true.
Then again, it's Sam Raimi coming back after how many years at age, 62? Is he coming to just get
Yeah,
another paycheck because he's running
Marvel
low on the
paycheck.
funds? Or
Yeah.
is he like,
Yeah.
oh, I want to stamp and say, hey, I'm still here to make films, so maybe this check will let me do something more
Right.
my speed, you know? Because
Yeah.
last time he
Yeah.
got roped in with a comic book studio, stiff-armed him into making Spider-Man 3.
right.
And they tried to, say, oh, well, for the next one, you have to do this, this, that, and the other. And he was like,
Yeah.
fuck off. So,
I'm curious too. Yeah.
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 So, who knows?
I have
Yeah.
faith. I have faith in the Reims.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, he's one of those directors where, season pass, I'm there for him.
Right.
But
Let's see if he
good or
puts out
bad.
the meat grinder that is Marvel.
Yeah, right?
See if he made it out the other side alive.
Right.
Fucking monster known as Disney.
Yeah. But stick around. Maybe we'll have positive things to say. We'll see.
We'll see. Who
Yeah.
knows?
Thanks for sticking with us, guys. Like and subscribe.
Yes,
Yep.
please.